In the heart of Africa, a groundbreaking initiative is taking shape, one that promises to transform agriculture across the continent. The CSIR Crops Research Institute has launched the Agroecology and Circular Economy for Ecosystem Services Project, dubbed ACE for ES. This two-year project aims to enhance sustainable maize and rice production in Ghana, Benin, Nigeria, and Tanzania by addressing the harmful impacts of traditional farming practices, excessive use of inorganic fertilizers, and the release of pollutants like methane and black carbon have long plagued these regions, degrading soil and harming the environment. This project is funded by the Clean Air Coalition under the United Nations Environment Programme. ACE for ES employs innovative agroecology and circular economy strategies to reduce emissions and improve sustainability. As part of this initiative, our team of dedicated researchers and policymakers is here in the lowlands of the CSIR site, conducting detailed inspections and evaluations.
Kwaku Ongnapesifo Asante, a research scientist with the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Crops Research Institute. Within the next 2 years ahead of us, we'll be managing the Agroecology and Circular Economy for Ecosystem Services project, that is ACE for ES. Today, the team, the rice team, we have two scientific teams, the maize technical team and then the rice technical team, to prepare the site for the validation trials on rice. We had to assess our lowland area to see which areas will best fit. So we visited the field this morning, and then we have agreed that we have to look at the stream and see, although this place is a low-lying area, we can achieve best results by first cutting through some transects and then getting the source of the stream so that we can know the water levels, and then that will inform the site preparation to guide us as to where to site particular experiments. So as for today, we came for the general site assessment. Next week, Wednesday, we'll be reconvening when the transects will have been made so that we know the water levels versus the land area where we can get continuous flooding on the sites and where we can get intermediate flooding and all that. So at least for a start, this morning has given us a good start with the technical team, hoping that from next week we can settle on something concrete as we prepare the site.
Edge or beginning of the plot closer to the forest, that end to this end, because they are closer to the river source. So we are looking at that, and so that's why we have asked that they should cut 6 transects for us.
Okay.
So that we can know where the river is. So from the beginning over there to the end, close to the, because all these places, they are anaerobic. That place is hydromorphic. So when the rain is falling, you could have water standing there for a couple of days, maybe 2-3 days. And if there's no rain, it may recede. But then we are looking at the situation where we can put water there permanently, because without that we wouldn't have the results that we are looking at. So they will cut 6 transects for us along this whole stretch. So, and of course, because it's a technology park, we want all the treatments to align. Then when we look at it, we can see how many dams are we going to create. Can we create, if we create one, can it irrigate? And we are also looking at irrigating by gravity. So we may not need your irrigation if we are able to get the type of field that we want. So once they cut the transfer forest, we see where the water is. Then we also look at the feasibility of creating the dam. So from the dam, we want to irrigate by gravity to reduce cost. Otherwise, water pump and all that, fuel and all the stuff.
The goal to assess the effectiveness of nature-friendly practices such as composting and rotational farming in reducing climate pollutants. Project Lead NPI Dr. Kweku Onwuna Cresofo Asante explains further.
Within this project, we're expecting to host a technology park that validates 10 technologies around methane and black carbon emission in maize and rice. Maize particularly for the emissions around nitrous oxide and then black carbon during the land preparation, post-harvest management of the site. And then on rice, the particular focus is on methane emissions because of the waterlogged condition that creates appropriate or congenial environment for methanogenesis, the microorganisms that causes the emission with the biomass and the exudates that we have in the water environment. So for Ghana, the key focus is for Crop Research Institute to host the multicultural technologies around emissions, black carbon and methane. There are other countries like Benin who focus on the youth and women, and then the other countries largely also have their focus. But countries like Nigeria and Tanzania, they will have to wait for the validation trials to be complete. After the validation trials, we'll look at the knowledge that we generate, the publications and all the knowledge materials, and then develop specific training modules and information communication materials that can help us to communicate and then to share the technologies that have been validated, particularly around agroecology and circular economy. So with these, the technologies are expected to be scaled up across African countries beyond the 4 implementing countries, that is Ghana, Benin, Tanzania, and Nigeria. So beyond these countries, we expect that the other African countries would also adopt these technologies for us to have a reduced methane and black carbon emissions, or generally a reduction in short-lived climate pollutants associated with the agriculture sector. So with the emissions under control, we are expecting that our policy makers can also adopt or take up the technologies that we come up with, and particularly formulate and endorse policies for us to have our nationally determined contributions and national adaptation plans, having specific, clear policies around emission reductions in agriculture, particularly methane, black carbon, nitrous oxide, among others, so that as we promote the reduction of these emissions, we can achieve a faster, accelerated achievements of the Paris Agreement that we have all subscribed to, in order to have a better climate that supports agriculture. So basically, that's the essence of the project. The project has 4 main domains or strategies. 1, to promote scientific innovations around emission reductions through multiple cultures and how these cultures help to reduce emissions. And then secondly, to look at knowledge and capacity development, where the knowledge we gain through this work will be extended to the public, to agriculture institutions, to universities, research institutions that have mandates in agriculture, to also facilitate a lot of research works around emission reductions in agriculture. And then the third bit will be for us to, beyond the capacity building, have the media to disseminate widely as we speak. There's not so much talk on the actions that are being taken around emission reduction in agriculture. So we expect that at the end of the project, we have a lot of media publicity on works, fiscal works that are contributing to emission reduction to get us a better climate for agriculture purposes. And then the final bit is that at the end of the project, we will have our policymakers at the national levels endorsing national policies on emission reduction in agriculture.
With the ACE for ES project, Crops Research Institute is not only pioneering sustainable agricultural practices, but also inspiring future policy decisions across Africa.
Regional policymakers like the African Union, ECOWAS, and the regional blocs also endorsing specific policies around emission reduction in agriculture, focusing on short-lived climate pollutant. We appreciate the support provided by the Climate and Clean Air Coalition under the United Nations Environment Programme. We also appreciate the support by the various ministries in Benin, in Ghana, in Nigeria, and then in Tanzania, who are supporting this work to get us to the policy level where they endorse the policies that we have proposed on emission reduction, particularly on short-lived climate pollutants, focusing on rice and maize. We appreciate all the support provided by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, the Director General, the Director for the Crops Research Institute, and we also appreciate the support provided by the various consortium team members, particularly Africa Rice, the Youth Initiative for Land in Africa, based in Benin, Olusegun Agago, University of Science and Technology, Nigeria. We also appreciate the support provided by the Tanzania Organic Agriculture Movement, who are all behind this project, working very hard to ensure that on the ground we have something positive to boast about when it comes to getting results around emission reduction in agriculture, focusing on rice and maize.
The project's success in Ghana, Benin, Nigeria, and Tanzania is just the beginning. There are plans to extend these initiatives to other countries contingent on additional funding. The journey has just begun. As we inspect these lowlands and engage with project members, we take a significant step toward a healthier, more sustainable future for Africa and the world. ACE for ES, transforming agriculture, protecting our planet.